It's Libra season, so let's talk about which zodiac signs care most about the thoughts, feelings, opinions of other people. Starting with Aquarius. Aquarius is a little bit muddled on this. The air signs in general definitely care about what other people think. Aquarius being a fixed sign is a little bit more complicated though, because Aquarius is fixed in its own energy and its own individuality, and so for Aquarius, it's kind of like a two-sided thing. Do I care about the thoughts of other people or not? Aquarius being ruled by Saturn, Saturnian energy is very individualistic. So I could see an argument being made on either side. Modern astrologers in particular really view Aquarius as this like bold rebel. But there's also this other side of being very aware of the group, right? And group dynamics. So I'll just put them in the middle category for now. Maybe I'll change that later. I don't know. Next is Aries. Aries is gonna be as you know, they're gonna care as little as possible about the opinions of other people. As far as this 12 sign zodiac is gonna go. Aries often just aren't so aware of other people's inner worlds because they're so aware of their own, and that's kind of the beauty of Aries. That's there's a lot of pros and cons that come with that, but Aries is the sign of the individual more than anything else, so they are very outgoing. The energy flows outward from Aries rather than Aries being so focused on taking everything else in. Cancer is an interesting one. So on the one hand, Cancer is, out of all the signs, Cancer is probably the most fixated on their own emotions, and therefore the cost of that will, you're going to have to sacrifice some awareness of, other people's opinions and emotions. But on the other hand, Cancer is, known for being very nurturing, and Cancer very much loves connections with other people, wants to be nurturing. I think that's a major key point. Cancer loves connecting with other people. So I won't put them in the very most category, but Cancer definitely does care about other people for sure. Capricorn, I'm also going to put it at the very bottom because Capricorn, it's a Saturn ruled energy, kind of like Aquarius, but Capricorn is Earth. And so they're so focused on their own kind of goals and trajectory. Capricorn is interesting though, because I think many people with Capricorn placements can get kind of lost being a martyr for others. So I could see how many Capricorn placements can actually skew like all the way to the other side of the spectrum and be constantly giving, constantly working for others. But it all just kind of depends on their own goals. It's still very individualistic in a sense, and Capricorn is just not so focused on the short term. Like, I think because Capricorn's such a long term oriented sign, they're not so focused on like the immediate thoughts and feelings of other people. They're more thinking about the long term trajectory. And I think opinions they're much more trivial in nature, right? Speaking of trivial, Gemini. So Gemini's definitely going to care about as much as possible of the opinions of others. And this goes back to the air signs in general, definitely fixate on what other people think. I think for Gemini, it's all about relativity. Gemini is focused on the context. And so I think it's hard for Gemini to really know where they're at if they don't have like some point of reference. So they need to know like what are the thoughts and feelings of some other person. Could be anybody, but that other person provides a reference point. And we'll see that with Libra as well, I think. Let's go to Leo. So Leo is actually tricky for me to think about. I was thinking about this before I started filming. At first, I was thinking Leo cares a lot about the opinions of others. Leo loves attention. They're known for being attention seekers. They love kind of making an impact. But they are very similar to Aries in the sense that, the energy kind of flows outward. They're more focused on their own thoughts and feelings than the thoughts and feelings of others. So I'm going to say maybe average. Yes, I'll say average for now. I could see an argument being made either way for Leo. And then let's go to Libra. So Libra is like the king of caring about what other people think, even more so than Gemini, more so than any other sign. Libra is all about the other. Libra is the seventh sign. It opposes Aries. Aries is all about the self and the individual. And because Libra opposes Aries, Libra is all about the other. So Libra, even more than Gemini, Libra, they don't know how they feel or think. Like there's this void there, but that void allows them to explore so many other energies. And so, it is a very difficult sign. Saturn is exalted there, Sun is in fall. So especially, anyone with Sun in Libra, I do view that placement as the most difficult sun sign. The ego is just very weak. But again, that in itself has a lot of advantages as well. Libra can see every side because they're the most objective. They're the only sign that's symbolized as an object, not a person or an animal. So anyway, yeah, they don't have their own animalistic, like vivid inner world. They're basically completely focused on the world of other people, I guess you could say. Next is Pisces. Pisces was also tricky for me to kind of evaluate when I was just thinking about this. On the one hand, I could see Pisces being very focused on other people and a little bit like Gemini or Libra, getting kind of lost in the thoughts and feelings of other people and being very open to the world, open to other angles, other viewpoints. On the other hand, Pisces is also known for their habit of retreating and their escapism and shutting the entire world out, and that implies a lot of individualism. I also think that just around the time of year that Pisces is, the light is increasing, and there's this really intense kind of optimism at that time, which I think there's a lot of focus on the self at that time that comes with that optimism, if that makes sense. Next is Sagittarius. Sagittarius is also kind of tricky because, yes, they are a fire sign. I know Sagittarius is known for being super bold and individualistic. I've met a lot of people with Sagittarius placements, though, and many of them can be actually very timid and shy and very focused on the thoughts and feelings of others. So overall, I'm going to also stack them in the kind of average tier. Next is Scorpio. So I'm definitely putting Scorpio right here. I don't think they deserved, well, not deserve. I don't think it would be accurate to put them all the way at the bottom, because Scorpio is extremely aware of other people and other energies. They're sometimes fixated on the thoughts and feelings of others, but they also have this huge rebellious streak and this huge individuality as well. So at the end of the day, Scorpio is going to do whatever they want to do, and they're not going to feel encumbered by the thoughts and feelings of others. But to say that they're unaware of the opinions of others, I think would be inaccurate. So I'm going to put them just above Aries and Capricorn. Next is Taurus. Taurus is a little tricky as well. I'm also I know there's a lot in this average category, which I think is kind of boring, but at the same time, I'm doing this as accurately as I can. Taurus, I think, has that kind of perfect balance of, focusing on themselves, but also focusing on others. I think that's why Moon is exalted there. What else? Taurus, yeah, they're open to the thoughts and feelings of others. They can be very nurturing, but at the same time, they're gonna be very stubborn to what makes sense to them. Taurus is very fixated on their own kind of instincts. So all in all, I'd say they're also in the middle. And then lastly is Virgo. Virgo was pretty easy for me to rank too. Virgo very much, wants to be a good student and focus on all the facts. They're constantly searching for other, like what's the verified information. They're looking outside of themselves to verify things. Virgo also likes to be needed, and so I think that also implies focusing on others. The only reason why I wouldn't put them higher is because I think Virgo, being an earth sign, they are going to focus on like what is true. They're going to focus on the truth or the reality as best as they see it. And so that's going to keep them from like constantly being swayed entirely by the thoughts and feelings of others. But yeah, that's my take on this kind of random topic. Let me know what you think. And thanks for watching.